In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on January 31st, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. San Antonio Spurs versus Charlotte Hornets. The San Antonio Spurs head to the Spectrum Center on Saturday night to face the Charlotte Hornets in what quietly feels like a measuring stick game for both sides. They are not two headline grabbers right now, but this is the kind of spot that tells you a lot about where each team really is. San Antonio is coming in after beating the Houston Rockets, dropping one to the New Orleans Pelicans, and with a matchup against the Orlando Magic up next. They have taken 5 of their last 7 games, which quietly signals a group that has started to figure out what works and what does not. Charlotte, on their side, picked up wins over the Dallas Mavericks and the Memphis Grizzlies, and they have the Pelicans on deck as well. They have grabbed 8 wins in their last 11, so form-wise they actually arrive looking like the hotter team, at least on the surface. In terms of availability, the Spurs are still a bit short with Jeremy Sochan ruled out. The Hornets remain without Mason Plumlee and KJ Simpson, which trims some depth and flexibility for them. San Antonio has been in decent shape results-wise, but it is Charlotte that comes in carrying the momentum and the recent buzz. Here is the thing, though. The Hornets are enjoying a 5-game winning streak heading into this clash with San Antonio. That sounds impressive, and it is, but 3 of those victories came against teams currently sitting outside the play-in picture, and another came against a Philadelphia 76ers squad missing Joel Embiid. So the run is real, but the context softens it a bit. With the Spurs star big man Victor Wembanyama available and the rest of the group intact outside of Sochan, this matchup has the feel of a reality check spot for the hosts. San Antonio has put together a strong record on the road this season, and they sit 6th in point differential in those away games, which usually screams that their style travels well. Over their last 10, they rank 5th in defensive rating, so there is a very reasonable path to them slowing down a Hornets offense that has been feeling pretty good about itself lately. Charlotte has been living in the paint during this recent stretch, ranking 5th in the league in points in the paint over the last 10 games. Against Wembanyama, those easy touches get a lot more complicated. When you have someone like him lurking at the rim, it gives the Spurs perimeter defenders the freedom to close out harder and more aggressively on shooters, and the numbers back that up since over that same span they are 8th in opponent three-pointers made. That kind of defensive profile should help them reduce what the Hornets can get from guys like Con Knupel and Brandon Miller on the perimeter. The Hornets have been on a good run, and it would not be the shock of the season if they managed to punch above their weight again here. Still, San Antonio is relatively healthy, they have had enough rest, and their recent defensive level plus their road form suggests they are well set up to handle this spot. As our first pick for this matchup, the San Antonio Spurs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The San Antonio Spurs are averaging 117.2 points on 47.2% shooting from the field while giving up 112.1 points on 45.7% shooting. They are knocking down 34.7% of their threes and hitting 78.6% at the free throw line, and they are pulling in 46.3 rebounds per game. On the other side, they are allowing opponents to shoot 35.8% from beyond the arc, which keeps games fairly open and gives both teams enough rhythm from deep. The Charlotte Hornets are putting up 116.4 points on 46.4% shooting and allowing 114.8 points on 47.4% shooting. They are connecting on 37.3% of their three-point attempts and 81.1% at the stripe, and they are collecting 45.7 rebounds per contest. Defensively, they allow 36.7% from 3, which is not exactly smothering, so shooters on both sides should feel comfortable. When you stack all that together, you are looking at 2 teams that can score, that do not exactly lock things down on the perimeter, and that both rebound well enough to extend possessions and generate second-chance looks. It sets up as the kind of game where the offenses can stay in rhythm for long stretches, with free throws, threes, and putbacks all feeding into the total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. This segment is a paid sponsorship with Webull. Today's quick segment is about event contracts, sometimes called prediction markets, and how they work in a regulated, contract-based format. I've been exploring Webull's prediction market platform, where outcomes are clearly defined and prices can move in real time as new information becomes available. Here's the simple mechanic. An event contract is typically structured to settle at $1 if a specific outcome happens, or $0 if it doesn't. So if a contract is trading at, say, 40 cents, that's basically what the market is willing to pay right now for the chance at that $1 settlement, which is why people often talk about it like a market-implied probability. It's not a guarantee, but it is a clean way to see what the crowd expects in that moment. Around major events like the big game, you'll often see contracts tied to outcomes like who wins or other clearly defined results. And a key point is you're not automatically locked in until the end. You can choose to hold a settlement, or you can exit earlier while the market is open if you want to manage risk or take a profit or loss before the event resolves. That flexibility matters because these prices can swing fast depending on injuries, news, and momentum. If you're curious, the way I look at it is pretty straightforward. First, understand the exact wording of the contract, then decide what price you're comfortable with, and consider using a limit order mindset so you're not chasing a moving number. And just as important, decide your plan before you enter. Are you holding to settlement, or are you willing to close out early if the market moves against you? Webull has also stated it's offering zero commission on big game-related event contract trades, though exchange fees may still apply. As always, this is not financial advice, just a quick explainer of how these contracts work and how people think about them. If you want to learn more, click the link in our video description. Atlanta Hawks versus Indiana Pacers. The Atlanta Hawks head to Gainbridge Fieldhouse to face the Indiana Pacers on Saturday night, and it has a bit of that quiet tension kind of feel to it. Two teams that know each other well, plenty of recent history, and not a lot of mystery about what each side wants to do. The Hawks enter this one after a strong stretch, having beaten the Celtics, taken a loss to the Rockets, and with a meeting against the Heat coming up next. They have won 4 of their last 5 games, which says a lot about how they have settled into a better rhythm lately, both in terms of execution and confidence. On the other side, the Pacers come in having just lost to these same Hawks, then bouncing back with a win over the Bulls, and with the Rockets next on their schedule. They have dropped 5 of their last 8 games, so while they are not completely sliding, they are definitely not in top gear either. In terms of personnel, the Hawks are still without Kristaps Porzingis, and they have Jalen Johnson and Zachary Rysakar both listed as questionable, which adds a little uncertainty to their rotation and minutes distribution. The Pacers have once again ruled out Tyrese Halliburton and Obi Toppin, so they are still missing key pieces in their playmaking and front court depth. It is a bit ironic that the Pacers are said to be playing slightly better lately, yet they have already been blown out twice this season by this same Hawks team, which is hard to ignore no matter how you spin the recent form. There is an interesting note in there about the Pacers being as healthy as they have been all year, and it is true that 5 of their 12 wins have come in their last 10 games. That kind of short-term surge often tricks people into thinking a corner has been fully turned, even though the bigger picture still looks choppy. Despite that, the lean still lands on the Hawks with this small number because even as the Pacers steadily get guys back, they remain very hit or miss from night to night, which is not exactly comforting if you are backing them. The Hawks, by contrast, have been playing winning basketball over the last 2 weeks, and a lot of that has shown up in their road performances. They have been at their best away from home, stacking up 15 road wins, which is the type of thing that usually speaks to focus and composure in less friendly environments. They also just beat the Pacers by 16 points a few days ago, and they have now taken 4 straight meetings between these teams overall. When you put all that together, this current number feels like it gives the Pacers a bit more respect than they have truly earned against this specific opponent. Honestly, it is hard to justify that with what we have already seen head-to-head. As our first pick for this matchup, the Atlanta Hawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Atlanta Hawks are averaging 117.8 points on 47.3% shooting from the field while allowing 118.4 points on 47.5% shooting. They are hitting 37.1% of their threes and 77.6% from the free throw line, and they are pulling down 43.1 rebounds per game, which keeps possessions alive and helps games stretch out a bit. They also give up 35.4% shooting from deep, so opponents are rarely shut down from the perimeter, which tends to keep scores inflated. The Indiana Pacers are averaging 110.3 points on 44.3% shooting and allowing 118.3 points on 48.3% shooting. They are shooting 34.2% from 3 and 76.8% from the line while grabbing 43 rebounds per contest, which is right in that range where both teams can grab extra chances on the glass. Defensively, they are allowing 34.4% shooting from beyond the arc, so they are not exactly putting a lid on the perimeter either. Put all of that together, and you have two teams that both allow high field goal percentages and do not completely choke off the three-point line, while also rebounding well enough to create second-chance points. That combination usually leads to long stretches where offenses stay in rhythm, and even when the first shot does not fall, there is another look coming quickly. With both sides capable of putting points on the board and neither defense showing a habit of consistently dragging the pace down, it sets up as a matchup where scoring should flow more often than it stalls. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Pelicans versus Philadelphia 76ers. The New Orleans Pelicans invade the Xfinity Mobile Arena to do battle with the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday night. It has that awkward mix of desperation and expectation, which usually makes for a fun watch. The Pelicans are coming off a win over the Memphis Grizzlies, a loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they have the Charlotte Hornets on deck. Even with 3 nice wins in their last 4, they have still dropped 15 of their last 20, so the season as a whole has felt pretty rough. The 76ers, on the other hand, are coming off wins against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Sacramento Kings, with the Los Angeles Clippers waiting after this one. They have taken 10 of their last 17, which is solid without being anything wildly dominant. From a personnel standpoint, the Pelicans are still missing DeJounte Murray, which obviously hurts their guard play and late-game control. The 76ers are monitoring Quentin Grimes, who is listed as day-to-day for this matchup. New Orleans has shown some life with those recent wins, so seeing them open as heavy road underdogs feels a little surprising on first glance. Philadelphia needed enormous performances from Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid just to sneak past the Kings in a close one on Thursday. On paper, this should be straightforward for the 76ers. They are at home, they have the rest advantage, and they are relatively healthy. Throw in the fact that the Pelicans have only 5 road wins, and you can see why people lean toward a comfortable margin. Still, the 76ers have been giving off slightly strange vibes lately, that kind of energy where results do not always match the talent. Letting the Kings push them all the way in that last one is part of that picture. And if you care about matchup history, the Pelicans have actually won 4 straight games against the 76ers, which is not nothing. Philadelphia is also just 5-9 against the spread in their last 14 games when favored by 6 points or more, and in 6 of those failed covers they did not just miss the number, they lost outright. So even if the situation looks friendly for the home side on paper, the recent performance trends, the history between these teams, and the Pelicans' little burst of form all point toward this staying more competitive than the line suggests. I am expecting New Orleans to hang around and keep the margin in single digits rather than getting completely blown away. As our first pick for this matchup, the New Orleans Pelicans to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Pelicans are averaging 114.4 points on 46% shooting from the field, while allowing 121.2 points on 48.3% shooting. They are hitting 33.7% from beyond the arc and 78.5% from the free throw line, and they are pulling down 44 rebounds per game. They are allowing opponents to shoot 35.9% from 3, which usually keeps games open and gives the other side plenty of rhythm on the perimeter. The 76ers are putting up 116.5 points on 45.9% shooting and surrendering 115.8 points on 46.8% shooting. They are connecting on 35.6% of their threes and 81.4% of their free throws, while grabbing 43.4 rebounds per contest. Defensively, they allow 35.2% from deep, so they are not exactly shutting teams down from outside either. When you combine those numbers, you get two teams that both score in the mid-100 teens on average and also allow opponents to shoot at efficient clips from the field and from three. The rebounding totals are strong enough on both sides to create second-chance opportunities, and the free throw percentages suggest that trips to the line are likely to translate into points rather than empty possessions. With both offenses capable of getting going and both defenses leaky enough to keep doors open, this sets up as the kind of game where the scoreboard keeps moving and long, dry spells are not all that likely. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.